I'm Matt from the Pickleball Clinic, and today I'm going to give you the 3 most important tips for perfecting your serve. This is going to help you guys serve deep in the box, with pace, with spin, and make sure that serve is nice and aggressive so that you get an easier opportunity to hit a third shot, either drive or drop, whichever you prefer based on the situation. A couple key errors that I see with beginners when they're trying to learn the serve is that they have trouble getting the ball actually deep in the box for a variety of reasons that mostly have to do with the technique. So this first tip that we're going to go over is going to have to do with the way that we are positioning our bodies. So one of the best tips that I always give to beginners is to make sure that you're standing sideways, because this is going to give you more room to rotate. I know there are a lot of professional and high-level players that like to stand facing directly towards the other side of the court. For example, Tyson McGuffin, that's a really good example. But the majority of the pros will stand sideways. This helps us rotate more because we're standing off sideways facing the side fence. So once we follow through, we're going to rotate our shoulders all the way, versus here, there's not as much rotation to be done unless you specifically tell yourself to make that turn. So we're going to start by turning sideways just to make sure that we're able to get that rotation. The second tip I'm going to give you guys is to make sure that we're preparing with our paddle back and a nice knee bend. So this way we have a strong base and our shoulder is loaded and prepared to create that power and consistency through the shot. A lot of times players will stand with their legs straight up and their paddle down off to the side. If I serve from here, it's going to be really hard to get that ball over the net. Forget about getting it deep in the court. So what I want to do instead is bend my knees, get my paddle back, and start off loaded up. So this way I can use my entire body to go straight through the shot and get that serve nice and deep. And then the third and final tip is to be mindful of your follow through. We want to get your follow through all the way over to your shoulder. I see a ton of beginner level players that won't take a full follow through. They'll do everything else correctly, but they'll stop their swing here. We want to get that follow through all the way up by our shoulder. That follow through is what's going to get the ball deep and with spin. A lot of players say, oh, well, why does what I do after I hit the ball affect what the ball does? And actually, what you're trying to do after you hit the ball subconsciously will affect everything that you're doing before the swing. So if I'm starting my swing back here, but my mind knows I'm going to stop here, I'm going to start decelerating before I make contact with the ball. So in order to make sure I accelerate all the way through, I'm going to make sure I'm telling myself follow through over the shoulder, so that way my paddle continues to accelerate all the way through my contact point, and I'm not going to stop my swing short and decelerate before hitting the ball, causing it to dump into the net. I'm going to give you guys a bonus tip here for that follow through, and that's going to be catch the paddle with your left hand at the end. So if you guys make that full swing and then catch it here, you know you're getting a full follow through. This is a tip that I love to give players that have trouble following through and remembering to, because this way, if your paddle meets your left hand off to the side, you know you're getting the paddle to your shoulder. So it will look something like this. I actually almost always use that when I'm trying to go for a big serve, so that way I know I'm getting that full follow through, that full extension through the ball, and that's what's going to get you guys a hard, deep, spinny, powerful serve.